Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm all alone as Joe is on sabbatical for a little while. He's not doing too well lately, guys. So let's all pray for Joe. The Eastern world, it is exploding, violence flaring, bullets loading. You're old enough to kill, but not for voting. You don't believe in war, but what's that gun you're toting? And even the Jordan River's got bodies floating, but you tell me over and over and over again, my friends, you don't believe we're on the eve of destruction. Oh no, no, you don't believe we're on the eve of destruction. Remember that song, guys? One hit wonder? Forgot his name. Of course, it's probably a 60s song, I'd imagine, and for whatever reason, I could sing it. I've always remembered political songs. I'm very good with um matching up things like War Pigs, for example. A lot of people think they created that song that Ozzy was like against the cops. They try to stick their symbolism in our face. How close can we get it to you? Ozzy's bad. That's it. He knew. At the very least, he knew, but don't tell me he wasn't involved. How close can they get it to our faces, in our faces, in our bodies too, without us knowing? All right. War Pigs was about the secret government, right? So, as well as praying for Joe, let's pray for Mama Helen. I hope she comes on. I'm not quite sure, and I'll check in a minute if she's even in the chat. Boy, do I got a lot to say. Not enough time to say it. I'll start in a minute. I just want to get a few things together. Eve of Destruction. Go look at that song. And even the Jordan River's got bodies floating. Now, I'm not really good with geography, but Jordan is right. There's Egypt, then there's like Israel, then there's Jordan, then there's Saudi Arabia. It would be the other way, but if we were looking at it towards, and it kind of goes actually into the Indiana Jones stuff that I want to talk about. Do I want to do this? No, I'm going to leave that the way that it is. Okay. I'm not used to doing this on my own, and I'm still under the weather. Feel sorry for me. Feel sorry for me. I'm a winter. I love your guys' answers in the community section. Some of them are hysterical. That's why I pin them. If you guys ever noticed, I actually pin every in every meme or under every link, I'll pin something or even a short or a video. I might have to make up a few, but for the most part, I do because you guys are just the best. And I could tell who's awake and who's not, and on what levels. Everybody is awake at different levels, and that kind of brings me into the Cash Patel and Bongino thing. I hate to beat a dead horse, I really do, but I really must. Because I realized a couple of things that maybe I didn't say a day or two ago. I was on it, but not quite. Good evening, whoever's in the chat. Good evening. Basically, I'll get started in a minute. Let me see. there's two sets of news going out. Well, three, technically three. Okay. We have the conservative news, the mega, pro-conservative. We have the conspiracists, and we have the left-wing media, correct? Do we understand this so far? Because there's a lot, as even John Kennedy said, Senator John Kennedy. There's 37% of conspiracies are coming true. He said that a while back. The cockles. Okay. And he knows what he's talking about. And he's seeing more things slowly. He's very lucky. Cash Patel and Dan Bongino were not as lucky. They were not awake at all, apparently. And I think Pam Bondi as well, at all. They were not prepared to see what they saw. And I will say it again and again. God help me, they're going to kick me off the show. Even the good guys might. Trump knew since at least 1999, 98, 99. He's been waking up slowly. This is the awakening. And I'm even going to show you just a few hints in movies and such, why it's what's real and what's fake. The Dan Bongino and Cash Patel interview was for the conspiracists. I've realized this. For the exact reason I said. We're being told that these poor lads and lasses are crudely being wakened. Crudely. Where I knew as such a little kid, and believe me, Indiana Jones and Star Trek and things that I grew up with like MASH are the reasons why. And maybe a little Ukrainian salt in me, I don't know. But there's a reason why certain people woke up at certain times. It has to do with injections. It has to do with religion. It has to do with the foods we ate. As I explained to Mama Helen, I did it this way. You grow up, your mother, father have, it's you and your brother, and you're very much the same, except you always ate Cheerios and he always ate Special K. I hope I don't get in trouble for this. I'm not going to pick which one, how's this, but the one brother, you or sister, fine, never a problem. The other one, always sick. It was always something unhealthy. It was because of that choice of cereal. Now, for people that mix their cereals, you're not getting as much. You kind of cure yourself, then get sick again, then cure yourself. These are things that like Cash Patel and Bongino are just not, they were not. Besides the fact that I believe in aliens, and even if it's a flat Earth, I do believe there's other species, which Star Trek has given it away. And I do believe Gene Roddenberry was a good guy, but we never know because as Mama Helen and I were talking about earlier today, we believe even Washington, who was a Mason, we do believe he was an evil one. Because there were Masons that didn't know. Low on the lodge. We are talking about those kind of lodges. That's the kind of, skull and crossbone. That's why they started these whole Greek sororities and fraternities. Who would fall for that shit? But it only really mattered in the Ivy schools now, didn't it? So getting back to Cash Patel and Bongino, I believe that they had a rude awakening. I hope I don't get shot by them, or the Secret Service is gonna to my door. Okay, Carolyn, you've said enough. You're too awake. I am too awake, guys. That's exactly what it is. I'm seeing through everything. Seeing through everything. It's so easy. A caveman could do it. Well, there's a few cavemen that still can't do it. I don't know why. Um, so if you go back, liberals are the most asleep, right? Conservatives are mostly awake. They're the middlemen. And then conspiracists are fully awake, even if they don't know everything. They at least believe that there's much more to it, right? So that middle mega part needs to go more to the conspiracies before everything comes available to us. Because if you look at Bongino and you look at Cash Patel and how scared they were, again, I didn't even listen to the interview. I don't have to. Just saw it. How uncomfortable they were, and they knew this is all new, and they're being put on the spot. There's reasons for that too. It was for us. It's for us. Now, if you were with me yesterday, was the day before yesterday, perhaps, with Helen and I, we played, was it yesterday? I don't know. I've been sick and sleeping on it, but then that's my regular schedule anyhow. Ask me what day it is. I know it's close to the end of the month. We had put on the Nancy Pelosi dancing with now pedophile and rapist Smokey Robinson, William Robinson. I wonder how many drugs were used here and where he got his drugs from. Like, it brings me back a little bit to Cosby, right? Who had all these roofies. Was Diddy a drug dealer for the elites? Because I can tell you there were adrenochrome dealers, cannibal dealers for the elites. And I guarantee that shit that Cash Patel and Dan Bongino was not ready to look at. What the fuck is this receipt for? What does this pizza have on it? What did Hillary do to that little girl? Going back to the video of Pelosi, I mentioned that it was very fake. There's no way in hell that somebody's putting a, sorry, Helen. I butt dialed Helen. Uh, I mean, even if it was like an Apple One, iPhone or whatever, it wouldn't be that bad. I had the video phones as soon as they came out. I knew what they were capable of. I would always upgrade. I haven't upgraded in a while, but I'm very happy with my phone at the moment. Except for yeah, I need to get it. I need a new one, but that's besides the point. It's just not. It's not real. And it dawns on me yesterday. It's by the United Spot, that video was. You have to look out for who's telling us information because it is Q. It is our military. It is our youngsters doing their thesis at the academy in the army. Watch out for them. I'm going to try to help you along, but you watch out for them. They're awake. They're more awake than Cash Patel was. Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi. MTG, she knows. Maybe she don't know as much as a bunch of us do. Does she have the time? She doesn't have the time, but she's been involved. She knows. I'm telling you the truth, guys. So that video we watched of, I think it was Booker, who looked like he was wearing an old-time jazz funeral outfit. I don't know what the hell that was. Good evening, Mama Helen. Um, Hold on. Let me see if I could do this.
It still says Samsung.
Yeah, I know. You have to change it before you come on. That's all right. I could change it for now. Um, if you noticed, there was a picture next to it. Mama thinks that the woman next to the picture of Pelosi dancing looks like the woman who slept with like 365 something men in a day or two. It was disgusting. I don't know what the hell's
A
wrong with you.
thousand guys back to back.
I don't want to know. You know what? I understand being, I get it, being promiscuous.
That
And
ain't promiscuous. That's a nympho.
well, look, that's Lolita. That's what Lolita means from Spanish to English. A promiscuous young lady is exactly what that means. But being a slut. So it got me thinking, and thank you, Mama. Okay. So if you look at this young, I'm not going to play it now because I'm not staying on long. But if you look at it, there's the girl next to it, and she's fake. She's animation. They're trying to tell us because I used to think, and they probably did do it so it couldn't be tracked at one time. It changes the algorithms when you have two different. That's why they have a hard time with the Zoom, I think. They have to personally get into Zoom. They can't do it by another tracking system, which actually Noah, my mod in Women Warriors and close friend of mine, had said he was teaching me the other day. There's a lot to still learn. But the United Spot absolutely put this out with this weird looking robotic woman next to it to show us. Because at first glance, it looks so real.
Good evening, Joseph Rogers.
Hi, Brother Joseph. I hope all is well. My Texan brother.
I think that you asked if the good guys are in control, why would they be scared? Because not everybody was let in on the plan. Get out of here, you.
Not everybody knows as much as you do. And that's look, it's one thing to tell, hey, but Dan Bongino, you know that they were having sex, they were paying for sluts, they were doing cocaine, that they were having their fun, they were having their cake and eating it too. But it's another thing to say Paul Pelosi liked to fuck little boys, little men, or men that dressed as babies, or that Hillary filleted the face of a 5-year-old girl, took it, held it in front of her face, and mocked the girl with her own face, so that the little girl's adrenochrome could go up so much that she'd want to drink it, like vampires. This is no joke. Our history that we think or pretend is mostly real. Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan was no mistake, my friends. His family did that. They caused our wars. To know of the cabal and what they're about and how long it's been around is a lot more than them partying here on regular earth where we believe Jesus Christ is coming back. These people don't. I've been trying to wake up Mega as Mama has been, and even some libtards for 10 years. We're going on 10 years. At least there. Since I'm almost in Florida. When I turn 49, I'll have been in Florida for a week or two. I forgot. It was somewhere around my birthday. It'd be 10 years, and that's when I really got down to business. I always believed and always fought in a way, tried to explain to my friends and my husband, people in the bar, oh, that was great, because I would be very neutral. Star Trek told us. Okay. Star
What?
Trek told us. There's a difference between Trekkies and Trekker. Both are accepted nowadays because they're both in the Webster Dictionary. Trekkie happens to be older, so I don't know what the argument is. But Um, Trekkie also, in a general, describes the classic, the people that grew up with classic Trek. Now, I happen to not like classic Trek. I really don't. Never really. I watched it. I watched it with my eldest brother. He's a huge fan. Most of my family will watch any Star Trek. My father, my mother, we would all. My grandmother too, from the Ukraine. My grandma that came through Ellis Island. Her name is on a brick on the wall of Ellis Island, which I will have to go and visit. Hopefully if New York ever straightens up, just like the Jordan River.
Okay, everybody saw you. Now
So
get out.
I know, right? They're all showing their
Get
butts off.
out.
A Trekker is more like me, someone who started with Star Trek Next Generation and just got into all the Star Treks. Now, I didn't like Enterprise. There's some things I stopped watching. Voyager, Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Generation, and I know much about classic Trek. Not that much as, like, you ask me anything about Star Trek Next Generation, I'll know it. I'm not like with the names and all, but I'll know like the episodes, I'll know what happened, I'll know what it's about, I'll start crying because you learn lessons. Coincidences. We're gonna get on to coincidences
Good
with Star
evening,
Trek.
A to Z. Space Force symbol, similarity, Star Trek symbol.
Exactly. Because there's never there's always a I should say there's always a reason they do stuff. Okay. I'm gonna read a bit off my phone because I didn't get a chance to really prepare. The number 47. Now this is Star Trek Next Generation. This is why I'm awake. This is partly the reason. I remember watching it when I was a child, 9, 10, 11. I was there somewhere. The number 47 was has been frequently mentioned in Star Trek. It's a running gag, the number 47, that was initiated by writer Joe Menunsky in Star Trek The Next Generation, where it was inserted into nearly every episode. This is tradition, has been carried on by other Star Trek writers. Yes. 47. Now, before that, guys, I swear to you, 47 always meant change to me. Always. Because 4 was a love number and 7 was a love number. And the both of them together meant severe change, like change. There's so much love. There's enough love on that tilted this earth that we can actually change. And we're so close. Those mega they need to. You can't get Bongino back on his podcast talking about this stuff. He can't do it now. We need others to do it. And if you ask any of my friends, they will tell you I've tried my best to smack broadcasters upside the head. Same with Mama Helen. Mama Helen has donated numerous times to no avail. Hence the reason I opened up this group, this channel. This is not me. I'm a good teacher, but I'd rather have people with me in a small group. That's me. To do this, it's taken 80% of my day. Don't you tell us we're not soldiers and we haven't been for the last 10 years because Trump himself has told us in between the lines. Number 47 has been implanted into our brains because they could get to the past. Right? Just like who knows about the books of The Journeys of Baron Trump by
Time travel.
yeah. Well, they don't say real time travel. And they certainly don't say we can get into the future yet, but they say we could put things in the past. Give people ideas to do kind of like a Scrooge where he saw a ghost, but it's not a ghost. It's like a hologram. And like I've said, I remember reading sciences when I was in sixth, seventh, and eighth grade in these magazines, astronomy and even in school books, science school books, that never went anywhere. Where did those sciences go? MIT, Harvard University. Where'd those sciences go? The military, 50 to 100 years more advanced. With computers and other technologies, I'm sure it's not that difficult to do what they did. The other thing that they always mentioned in Star Trek Next Generation, for those who know Star Trek, is Q.
Easy, girl. Easy. I got a headache.
I'm so sorry, love. I
I'm
know.
sorry, I'm just sitting here like a lump.
I love it. I love that you just came on. I want Dan might come on. I got in touch with him a little late, but we'll see. These are things that, that have been telling me for years there's something very strange. Okay. Q was the omnipotent being who put humanity on trial. Think of it. Think of it, my Star Trek friends. The omnipotent human being, the God, because that's what the elites think of themselves as, these cabal,
I'll be right
putting
back.
humanity on trial. Of course, putting humanity on trial. We've always been on trial. They had the stones, the Georgian guide stones. That was their laws. The British rule. That was their laws. Oh yeah, I got my pussy shirt on. Got my pussy shirt on. Sorry. I don't care what anybody says. There's certain
I
words
got
I'm
my
not going to
Trump
stop
shirt on.
saying. So, oh yeah, look at what Mama has on. Which one is that? The United States presidential.
No,
Yes. Woo!
no.
Shout out to it. Mama, you did bring up Letitia's confession yesterday. What was that about? Which one did she confess about?
Okay, Letitia James finally had to confess because all the evidence against her was really stacking up against her where she couldn't deny it anymore because they did a lot of digging. She confessed that
So she,
she made up all these mortgage things and the amount of rooms that were in each house and so on and so forth, that she wasn't going to live in the house in Virginia and so on and so forth. Then we come to find that she was hell bent on crucifying Trump in court. And mind you, what she was crucifying Trump in court for was everything that she did. So the reason why she was doing this was because she thought that Biden and Harris had the election in the bag. And nobody, if they were back in office after the election, they wouldn't be going through this like Trump is going through it. It's all this information. They wouldn't be documenting all this stuff and inquiring. See, that's why you you can't just keep thinking that, wow, we got this. It's in the bag and I'm going to get away with it. Don't work
right,
that way.
right. Well, let me ask you something. Do you think Letitia is on the top of the list of who Trump had to go after?
No, but I'm pretty sure he put her in a nice, decent place
Right.
because what they
Well,
would,
you're
what
saying,
New
wait a
York
second, the way
City
you
did,
said that, hold on, Mama. The way you said that, it was past tense. Is she gone already?
I believe so. I believe she's in Gitmo.
She's in Gitmo, guys. We're watching a movie, guys. It's a movie. Thank you, Helen. Thank you. I'm sorry. Do you remember what you were going to say?
No.
We're being honest, and believe me, that's
um, right. You just don't walk around thinking that, hey, I got this.
Judges that
Because
know the law,
whatever is done in the
lawyers.
darkness is brought to the light. Okay. And she
Yes.
really did Trump dirty.
There's more mega than evil now. There's more good than evil, but we just have to get more of those mega onto the conspiracies. That's what's going on, guys. It's simple math. Very easy ratio. Probably a third of us just have to be
And if
there.
you notice, sporadically, you don't see all these troublemaking loudmouth suckers that we used to see either.
No, the
You
two
don't see
kids blow
Pelosi
up,
running
and
her
I'm
mouth.
not
You don't see Bass-faced Waters running her mouth. You don't hear from Fat Albert anymore.
right, right. It seems to come and go. Now, to keep Janine Pirro busy, I'm not saying this is fake because I can't tell for sure. So God forgive me that I'm using these two young people that died in a wrong way. But it can be the good guys making it all up, actors, just like January 6th, to keep Janine Pirro busy so she can study what is really true. Because conspiracies, guys, they're not conspiracies. You had different races on Star Trek and different species, including reptilian species that a lot of different conspiracists believe are on this earth. Regardless, they're more flat earthers, I think, believe in the Vril. Even the Klingons went underground. Uh, the Cardassians and the Klingons. But it's strange because they both look kind of reptilian. What were they trying to tell us? And I think my brother AJ there, he's so good in the Y-Files. He did something on the praying mantis evolving, which I haven't watched yet, but now I'm very interested about because in the female in the females of the praying mantis, after making love to the male, they just casually bite their heads off and kill them.
Hey, yo,
You're
they
no
go,
longer needed,
get
fool.
the hell out of here.
Your purpose was served. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I love my brothers and my sisters. I do.
uh,
So let's go to Indiana Jones for a second. Here's another one. You might notice that I'll pick out Spielberg and certain people. A couple of the movies, right? Of course, this isn't. I say this that they shove it in your face as best they can, right? Two out of the three movies. One was about the Holy Grail. That was the last movie, I think,
uh,
Crusade.
the Ark, no, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost
They
Ark.
were looking for the Ark of the Covenant.
Right. And and the one with the Sean Connery, short for 400. I love
Was
it.
that the Temple of Doom?
No, no. That was the last one. It was the Lost Crusades or something, where he thinks the Alexandria is the underneath Elizabeth. I forgot now the whole premise. I haven't seen it in like years, but
Yeah, I was not a what do you call it? Uh, Raiders of the Lost Ark fan. Any of the movies.
I can't say I was a fan. I just watched them.
I didn't really watch them either.
Well, the fact is, they use certain places. Um, Let me see if I have it. When they were looking for the Holy Grail, they went to this fake place. It was like this Temple of the Sun or something. That does not exist, but they did use, I don't know if you remember, they're on horseback. Indiana's the dog's name. I love Sean Connery in that movie. I just do. He gets the birds to attack the planes with his umbrella. I just love him. He was probably a bad guy, but I love him anyhow. They're horseback riding into what is actually a canyon. Um, what is it called? The Seek? I had it somewhere. And later, oh wait, no, that's the other one. I'm talking about where they found the Holy Grail, right? He goes in to save his father. He wants to find the Holy Grail, fill it up with the water, which would turn into the blood of Christ, and give it to his father to save him because Sean Connery had been shot. And he has all these cups to choose from, and the knight says to choose wisely. And he's looking around, and he's grabbing all these beautiful cups. Finally, he picks up just a wooden cup, and the knight says, "You've done well." Because I guess there was a German with him, and he picked up a cup originally, and it was not the right cup, and he drank from it for immortality, and he died. He crumpled up, and he turned that really good B motion picture, turned into a skull and just powder. It was funny. I don't know. See, certain things I remember so well, but pictures I always remembered so well. But you know, Indiana was smart enough, or Harrison Ford was smart enough to say this is it, a cup, because it was wood. It was just made because Jesus was a carpenter. He didn't have anything fancy like silver and gold like the Vatican. Why does the Vatican have silver and golds and bronzes and tapestries and paintings worth millions? And shut up. Give me a God, please, people, wake up. So he picks the cup of Christ, and it's the right one, the Holy Grail, and gives it to his father, and his father lives, and the bullet hole just goes away, and he drinks it. But they're actually in this place, and it is in Petra, Jordan, right by Israel, right in between everything. What if it is there? We had mentioned, yes, I had said something about Gaza, the Gaza Strip. Maybe there's some reason they're pushing those people to the south of the Strip. Regular, everyday people just want to live their damn lives. Who the hell cares who they believe in? These are young kids to old people. They're people. You have to realize who's good and who's bad. I am all for Israelites, the American good ones, not the 92% in Ashkenazi that seem to be cabal. I don't know how many of that 92% are, but I would imagine a great deal.
Well, do you think honestly that these people are voting for this war that's going on between these people? These people want to
No,
be left alone. It's the
yeah,
freaking government.
the Gaza
It's the
Strip is
government. It's the government. The
right.
government is making money off the wars.
The Israeli government made every single one of their military get the shots, and a lot of them. A lot of them. A lot more than America's had to, because after the first one, most Americans didn't get the second or third. They may have gotten a booster, and that was it. They were like, oh, screw this, because we learned pretty quick. But they were forced to get it. Forced. Israel is huge compared to the Strip. Do you guys understand? It is like maybe 40 times the size of the Gaza Strip, maybe 50. What is there? How about the Ark of the Covenant? Let's go back to our Indiana Jones analysis. My theory. Why can't we find the Ark of the Covenant? Why can't we find the Holy Grail? We've mocked it, Monty Python. Why? Where are they? Have the good guys hidden it? How about all the shit that was in the eagle's nest in Hitler's eagle's nest in Germany? Or was it Austria? I keep forgetting now. It doesn't matter. Where did all this stuff go? I mean, a lot of Americans didn't bring
I can
home that
guarantee you
much.
it ain't in the Vatican.
Not anymore. There was a tunnel between the Vatican and Israel, my friends. It's not impossible.
A to Z asks, has the third temple not been built? I'm not sure. I can't answer that.
Which temple is he talking about? Like, because you mean biblically? Biblically? Because if he's talking about biblically, they ruined, did they
He says
ruin?
rabbi means judge.
Well, yeah, because the Jews, yeah, there you go. But they're very, I mean, there's Americanized Jews are so different. They're just different. And they've lived in Israel, and there's nothing wrong with that either. But it's only like 8%
Well, you
of
got a
them.
lot of different sects of Jews living
Yes.
in here in New York.
That's
I'm
what
just
I was
saying in
saying.
New
I was
York.
trying to say, you have, I don't know, four or
You
five that
got
I
the
named the other
Sephardic
day in
Jews. You
Brooklyn
got
alone.
the Ark of the Covenant is in Ethiopia, says A to Z. Thank you,
That
A
could
to
be.
Z.
That could be. It's close enough. It could be. I mean, Africa is, I don't know if there can't be any tunnel. Well, there could be tunnels going there. Would they notice people building? I mean, it could be. But I have a feeling they
There's
gave it a,
tunnels that were built years and years and years and years
yeah,
and
but that would have to be
decades and
through water.
centuries
That's
ago.
continents. Africa is its own continent, right? Um, but they do things like that. They do. So I'm not sure. But they found it in Egypt in Indiana Jones. Uh, contains the
And
well of
Indiana
souls.
Jones remember, is just a movie.
But I'm trying to say that they push it in our faces, just like Kubrick tried to give us so many hints. Eyes wide shut, ladies and gentlemen. I couldn't stomach it. I couldn't stomach it because I knew. I knew that shit happened, right?
Hold on a second. A to Z says, do you mean the spirit of destiny that Adolf Hitler obtained? It pierced the side of Christ, the spear of destiny.
I don't know that one. I'm sorry, I don't know that one. Is that
And
another
it
art?
wasn't the Jews
I
that
mean,
killed Christ,
there's
it
the.
was the Romans.
Let me ask you, Mama Helen, actually. What did you say? It was from Romans?
They were the Romans, yes.
Okay. Okay. I don't know what the spear one is.
The spear after Christ was hung on the cross. They
Pierce.
stuck the spear in
The
his
Romans
side.
speared them, speared him.
Yeah, after they hung him on the cross.
Okay, let me ask you really quick. Now that I understand that, didn't you say something about Egypt actually being here? Let me, before you say that, our maps are backwards, guys. They make Europe, the UK, Africa, they make it look bigger than our country. And they do it for a reason. It's not right. You guys really have to watch West Wing. It explains a lot. I don't know. Like I said, they like to stick it in our faces. Do you, can you answer that, Mama? Do you remember saying it? That the actual
Yeah,
Nile River?
I saw a video and read that somewhere down south down south and underneath the United States is the real Egypt. Egypt is not where they say it is on the map. And that the Nile River is the Mississippi River.
And it's almost proven biblically because the Bible suggests that there's 22. Patch had told me this, and that's because people on TikTok see different things. Um, that there were 22 outlets from in biblically from the river of Nile, which the Mississippi had the exact number. 22 might not have been the number. I'm usually good with numbers, but whereas in the Nile River, even though it's huge, only has seven. The Mississippi is probably bigger than the Nile. They always said the Amazon River is the biggest, but who knows? Who really knows?
Okay. Good evening, Birch. A to Z says the rabbis are chosen to sit in judgment of all the nations, and that it will be in the judgment of the world. And Birch says, good evening, fellow purebloods.
Good evening, Brother Birch, Brother Danny.
Sorry,
Uh,
Birch, I'm new to this. I don't, I mean, I've seen you in the, what do you call it, comments before, but gotta
that's all
get to
right,
know you.
Helen. It takes time. I mean, you just started being manager, and then I had to get you off for a little bit, and then you came back and you started learning. Take your time. Um, Let me see if I could get the chat up for a second because I like what you guys are saying, but I'm not.
Napoleon had a spear of destiny. So then other world leaders, whoever holds the spear of destiny, will win all wars as it said.
I could see that. Okay, so they developed all the wars. So it was a big game to them. I keep saying like Risk. Risk is the only game I could possibly think of that was at Monopoly, right?
Yeah,
Luckily,
Monopoly.
Trump had Monopoly. Luckily, Trump had a Monopoly. Luckily, Trump's family was connected, even in Germany, because if you didn't know, he is German. Of course, he's American, but it really doesn't freaking matter. That's a big thing. Doesn't matter what we are. I mean, we're American, we're American, we're born here, we're American, but we have to be on the good side. And we definitely have to know our conspiracies. The auto pen, was it good or bad?
I don't know, but a lot of fugazi shit was done with that auto pen. I mean, orders were signed while Biden was at the inauguration. How could he be in two places at one time? He wasn't signing nothing. He was sitting there looking stupid.
So the auto pen signed for Diddy's house to get raided. The auto pen signed for military equipment. So much so of it, was it 80 million?
Yes,
80,
common sense. Okay, is that aimed at me, Birch?
so much of our military was left over there, close enough, and if they have these underground tunnels that they could get it to Israel where we need to actually fight. You got to stop thinking that you're pro-Israel when there's evil there. There's a difference. I'm pro-Israel and Israelites. I am not pro-evil. This evil goes back very, 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 very far.
Yeah.
So we can say that this is a
Right.
Christian Judea country, but maybe we were trying to get away from that because they
Okay, how
had,
could it be a Christian Judeo country after hearing and reading this stuff today about George Washington being the Illuminati uh
yeah,
third degree Mason or whatever kind of Mason he was?
yeah, and I believe that. Um, because there's a few things. Pictures when they have their, like Napoleon used to have his their hand underneath, excuse
Yeah,
me.
that's an Illuminati sign with their
That's
hand in their sleeve.
Illuminati.
Yeah,
Always the eye covered. Those are all Illuminati.
you got to know your signs.
But the biggest was when I was just listening to it when a while back, my husband was watching a show. It was a documentary, and he's talking his men out of rebelling against the government for their money. Why? Why? There was a reason they were upset and starving. Well, they wanted to get their army weaker because they were strong.
Well, look what he did with his slaves, too. He kept his slaves on his plantation long enough to keep them in slavery. Then he would send them to Mount Vernon for a while till the time was up, and then he'd bring the slaves back so they could stay slaves.
Yes.
I mean, everybody says, "Oh, George Washington was a great
There was
guy."
probably some kind of
We don't
statute
know
and he
this.
kept
We weren't
restarting
there.
over and over.
We weren't there. We don't know, and we do know that most of it, I'd say 90% of our history, has all been freaking lies.
That's right. Right. Starting with Washington, who was very well known to what? Tell the truth, Ellen. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
thank you,
never told
Birch.
George Washington never told a lie. A
What was
lie is one lie, but that don't mean he didn't lie 20 times
right,
or 50 times or a
right.
thousand times.
Didn't mean his father didn't whoop his ass. Birch says that we both have common sense, patriot ladies, and he hopes that I feel better. Thank you, Birch. Napoleon had the spear of destiny. You see, it makes sense that they had something to play with, to give to each other. Oh, it's your go. You control now. You could start the war, whatever country it landed in. But something about Russia. I think Russia tried to fight it at one point. I'm not exactly sure. I got to look up more Eastern European history because certain things just they don't add
I
up
want to
either. They don't add
I
up
want to
either.
read this, Kat.
But
Remember the 13th buckle of Afghanistan withdrawal. What does that mean, A to Z?
remember the 13 in the buckle of the Afghanistan withdrawal. I'm not sure what he means. That withdrawal, I just remember what was it, 80 billion or 80 billion, I think. But there's a reason because the good guys did it. We had to fight over there. Our military is fighting the real bad guys. Trump went into hiding. He told us as much. He went into Mount
Yes, 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 yes.
Cheyenne. What?
We have to deprogram ourselves from public school indoctrination. I think we already are because we're starting to see that everything that we were taught in school was a bunch of horse manure.
Well, there are basics. They had to keep us connected somehow. Like we had to understand money. If we didn't understand money, most of us couldn't live. But for the most part, yeah. I, I can't
Well,
I
I
can't
guess what
think of a
we're talking about
subject.
is, I guess what he's talking about is history. A lot of science is
What
bullshit
history?
also.
It was social studies. My history became social studies in like sixth or seventh grade. And I was like, I don't understand the difference. What's the difference? Why is it social studies? What am I studying that's so
I
social?
guess it's like why they call television television when they're
Yeah.
fucking something to plant in your brain.
and it keeps you occupied. And then you see infomercials and shopping
Right.
and
Television. I'm going to tell you this,
yeah,
and you're going to
and
fucking believe it.
TV programming,
Right. TV
the
programs.
TV guide. There's a guide. It's all relevant. It really is. We have to do, I must go over those words. The words are everything.
I
Um,
think he started that a while back ago,
what?
going over these words: television, TV guide, uh,
But
program, television program.
but there's more than just the
I
that's
mean, right, because there
UK
was a lot
Ultra.
more words
I
you
mean,
were supposed to go through.
what?
There was a lot more words you were supposed to go through.
I
And then
know.
something happened and you changed your mind. I don't know what happened.
Because I want the
I got
data
rid of
on,
cable 4 years ago. Do you miss the, and do not miss the bullshit?
oh yeah, good for you. See, I keep telling people stop watching TV. Stop watching TV. Wait till Trump comes out, which is Trump TV, and we're all gonna get signaled just like we did when he did that alert 7 years ago. We all got signaled on our phones. Wait till you get signaled on your phone that you've got payment. You, he has our bank account. Trump has our bank account numbers, dudes. Come on. Do we not trust him? That's how much we trust him, right? Not
Yeah,
the
but the funny
government.
thing is, the
Because
funniest thing is,
how do people not
oh,
see
why
this?
does Doge have to have all our information? Why does President Trump have to have all our information? Why, you stupid motherfuckers? You gave it to the cable company. You gave it to the bank. You gave it to the electric company.
You gave it
You
to
gave it to the
Facebook.
company. You gave it to FaceCrack,
Yeah.
Twitter. Come on. Talking about stupid.
You see the Brooklyn in us. You see the Brooklyn in us. Um, I just wanted to, this is the last thing, Mama Helen. Um, you all are living, and myself, in this very unique time. Every single one of us matter. It matters what we say to other people. And you could go along with the good vibes in the universe and we're all one. And I don't, or, or if you want to believe in good souls, or you want to believe in Christians or whatever it is that brings you to call each other brother and sister and patriots and people of light, whatever you want to call us, it matters what we say to each other. It matters how we communicate. And this is so hard for me because I am a casa and I complain and I bitch and I yell and I scream and I'm like, you're not listening to me. I'm going to come and beat you up, but I am trying to be
I'm
mellow.
the same way.
Yeah, I know. It's just we are tough ladies, but
But you see, we got to beat this into people to understand it because they don't understand.
I think they
You
do,
can
but they
tell
don't
them
want
50 times in 50 different ways, and they're still not going to believe you. So the only thing that might make them understand is a 2x4 across the back of the skull. What?
I'm trying to say how lucky they are not to have fallen into the satanic realm, and Mama's talking about, you getting smacked in the back of the head to get out of that satanic realm. Whichever way it goes. Do you know?
Okay, A to Z says when they signed the declaration of war for World War II, we've been in a perpetual state of war ever since because Congress never abolished the declaration of war.
Right.
Then he
We
wrote,
could go into
good to
that
be
one day.
alive.
Yes, exactly. We can definitely go into that. There's a lot of things that were not undone. There's like World War II, the Geneva Convention. Well, Geneva is where the ground control to control us are. The CERN, CERN.
And who was president during World War II?
FDR.
By four, ouch.
Um,
Was it Eisenhower?
no, FDR.
FDR.
Yes. But Churchill and FDR and a probably what was the French guy's name? It's on the
De
tip of my
Gaulle.
tongue.
De Gaulle.
De Gaulle. They all said, well, De Gaulle didn't want it. Snobby French. Sorry. They're not anymore. They're sad now, actually. They wanted Eisenhower to be the supreme commander. So he took over all the armies. All the Allied armies were taken over by Ike Eisenhower. He was a good man.
All right, A to Z says it was Franklin Delano Roosevelt and Harry Truman, vice president.
Yes.
And is that when the FBI was born?
I, that's a good question. For some reason, I think that it was in the 70s. I think the CIA is older, but we'll have to go into that another day, Mama. Like I said, I really want to go to sleep. I didn't want to stay on this long. I think I got the shit out. There's always room for other subjects. You guys want to talk about something, email us. You guys want to come on, email us. It's the liberally challenged at email.com, at gmail.com. The liberally challenged.
Eisenhower's five-star general and was in the command of Axis power over Europe and World War II. You know, I got
They
this
killed
stupid little heart
Patton.
thing. Can't read it.
They killed Patton. Drunk soldiers ran over him and Patton forget. Nah, it was something else. Patton was coming on to it. Maybe he was really beginning to see where the communism was coming from because he always said that Russia was red, but yet Russia helped us. I mean, they took the blunt of it at the Eastern Front. Okay, so one last thought to see how indoctrinated we are. Some musicians and artists and people might not have these problems. We train ourselves a little bit, but in general, we're either right-handed or left-handed. I don't know how many people are ambidextrous in this world. I could do a lot with my left hand that I could do with my right hand. A lot. But writing is not one of them because I can't do that with my right hand in general. What if they did that intentionally? What if they taught us only one-handed intentionally? Isn't that strange? But that's how fucked up our shit is. Why couldn't we learn to write with both hands? Would it, because the right side of the brain works the left side of the body and vice versa. And then I think one side is artsy and the other side is the thinking.
Oh, okay. I had to see. The FBI was supposed to be temporary.
That's
The
right.
alcohol prohibition.
That's right. Oh, it was the prohibition. Oh, so it was early, early on.
Yeah, that's more like in the freaking 20s.
That's the 20s, yeah.
They shot Patton in his car. The bullet was lodged in his neck, and he died on
That
Christmas
sounds,
Eve, 1945.
who said that?
A to Z.
Thank you. That sounds about right. That sounds more right. They always blamed it on two drunken soldiers, but no, it was an extermination. Exterminate.
Yeah,
I
they've
could
been good
send
for
it to
that
all
for
of
the longest
sci-fi
time.
too. What is that?
They were good for that for the longest time.
Yeah,
And what they were locking up the mobsters for, like Al Capone and all the mobsters, the gangsters
the ones that
back
started the
then.
unions.
Yeah, they right. They were worse.
That's where people like Nancy Pelosi, Nancy Reagan, they came from the mafioso. They did.
Bert said he could write his name in the snow.
Cuomo. What is that?
Bert said he could write his name in the snow.
In the snow.
And then he says, with my pen. But you see, we got to read between the lines. We know what you're talking about.
I'm getting a pretty good idea. All right. This was a great show. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us, and ladies, and whoever else was here tonight. I hope I got some things out there. Look, look at things. And if you have problems, if you see something that you want me to take a look at, then send it to me, please. I will look at it. If you're like, hey, Carolyn, does this look fake or not? I will try my best to let you know. Um, because there's a lot out there, and to wake it's to keep the conspiracists happy. We need to be happy to push it along to others. It's been a long journey, my friends. It's been a long journey. If it's almost a fifth of my life, just with Trump alone, right? So let's let's do it. Let's keep a smile on our face, keep it going. Hint, don't say I'm right. I have problems with people that do that. I'm right and that's it. Uh, but try to hit. Well, yeah, I say that all the time. You either watch me or you don't, you learn or you don't. But you see, when I learn, I listen to you guys too. It's not just me. It's not just me. I listen to everybody. So I'm trying to
Yeah,
like
well,
even it out.
if anybody's going to insist that they're right, research it and show
Right.
me proof.
Right, that's true. But it's hard with conspiracies that there's any proof. So just put a smile on their face, tell them that everything's going to change soon, be happy, be faithful, or whatever it is that you can. Some of them you could tell certain things to. Some of them want to know about the Vril, adrenochrome. They want to know about the UN and the Tree of Life. They want to know about the spear that A through Z was talking about, which I now have to because I know about the skull, the 13 skulls, but I'm not sure about that 13 number you were talking about or the spear. Although I could see it. For some reason, I always thought it was like more likely to be a sword, but a spear is, even older, so it makes sense. All right, guys, we love you. Thanks for joining
Good
us.
night, everybody. Thanks for showing up.
Say goodnight, Howard. She already
Enjoy
did.
the rest of your weekend.
Oh yeah, Memorial Day weekend. Wait, is it Floyd's anniversary of his death?
Yes, yes, Memorial Day weekend.
Poor
So we got to
baby.
throw a party.
He was a waste. They all were. All right.
He ain't dead. See ya.
That Brooklyn's still not out of me, I guess. I'm trying. I'm trying, guys.